I wish I was like them. I haven't got any horns. More's the pity. I need 1 or 2 horns to give my sagging face a lift. Maybe one will grow, and I needn't be ashamed anymore. Then I could go and join them. But it will never grow. My hands are so limp. Why won't they get rough? My skin is so slack, I can't stand this white, hairy body. Oh, how I'd love to have a skin in that wonderful dull green color. A skin that looks decent naked without any hair on it at all. Their song is charming. A bit raucous, perhaps, but it does have charm. I wish I could do it. No, that's not it. That's too feeble. It's got no drive behind it. I'm not trumpeting at all, I'm just howling. There's a big difference between howling and trumpeting. I have only myself to blame. I should have gone with them while there was still time. Now it's too late. Now I'll never become a rhinoceros. Never, never. I've gone past changing. I want to. I really do. But I can't. I just can't. I can't stand the sight of me. I'm too ashamed. I'm so ugly. People who try to hang on to their individuality always come to a bad end. Oh well, too bad. I'll take on the whole of them. I'll put up a fight against the lot of them. I'm the last man left, and I'm staying that way until the end. I'm not capitulating. So what does that mean? Why is this man so concerned about turning into a rhinoceros? Well, who wouldn't be? The truth that he begins to understand about his individuality isn't a function of logical plot or character development. The confusing elements of the theater of the absurd force us to throw up existential truths that force us to confront the emptiness we feel when our sense of who we are is threatened. The man wavers between wanting to be a rhinoceros like everyone else and being unable to give up his individuality to do it. He must continue to be the literal last man on earth because he can't change, even though he wants to. His shifting perspective allows him to give up on logic and give in to his absurd situation. Can changes in perspective make absurd situations seem okay? My faith in the days of the week has been seriously undermined. When I woke up this morning, I wasn't exactly sure what day it was. And for that brief moment, it was only a matter of seconds, I think it was seconds, I stood, or should I say lay, on very shaky ground. After all, how could I act with assuredness? How could I rise up and plunge headlong into Friday's world if it was actually Saturday? So I lay completely still for a moment, pondering this question. And that's when I noticed my hands. I'd never noticed them before. How they moved with amazing dexterity, but this flexibility, this movement of hands could never extend beyond the boundaries of its own flesh. Could only reach as far as the fingertips, and no further, much as the movement of time is restricted by the days of the week. So I got up, and I tried to erase these things from my mind. I tried to get dressed. But then I began to understand other things. Like, for example, the meaning of shoes. They were little prisons for my feet, absolute definitions of space. I could run 1,000,000 miles in any direction direction and still not escape them. And my hat, forming a firm idea around my head as if to say, well, that's about the size of it. My mind could expand into infinite space and still never change the shape of my head. I saw in the mirror a condemned man, serving a life sentence inside his body. Even the car I drove to work, my car, this thing, this instrument of liberation, it wasn't freedom. It was merely the idea of freedom, bound in metal. A kind of hope, but with a speed limit attached to it. Now, I was traveling an unknown route along the familiar road. To realize that the life you've led, the path you've chosen, isn't what you thought it was, is disturbing to say the least. Where does that leave man? Well, he has two choices when he's confronted with the fact that his life really is not what he thought it was. He can give up, or he can go on, knowing that the choices he makes have no meaning, but understanding nonetheless that these choices give him a sense of identity which stands in for meaning. This monologue shows the same shift in perspective, but with respect to meaning. Do we need meaning to go on? Or can we find ways to escape our meaningless lives and fly on the wings of absurdity? The point, when you must face a truth that shakes the foundation of your existence, is a common theme in the theater of the absurd. As man discovers, only in recognizing the pointlessness of our lives can we create our own roads. Have you not done tormenting me with your accursed time? It's abominable. When? One day. Is that not enough for you? One day like any other day. One day he went dumb. One day I went blind. One day you'll go deaf. One day we were born. One day we shall die. The same day. The second day. Is that not enough for you? They give birth astride of a grave. The light gleams an instant, then it is night once more. Was I sleeping while the others suffered? Am I sleeping now? Tomorrow, when I wake, or think I do, what will I say of today? That with Estragon, my friend, at this place until the fall of night, I waited for Godot? That Pato passed with his carrier, and that he spoke to us? Probably. But in all that, what truth will there be? He'll know nothing. He'll tell me about the blows he received, and I'll give him a carrot. Astride of a grave and a difficult birth. Down in the hole, lingeringly, the gravedigger puts on the forceps. We have time to grow old. The air is full of our cries. But habit is a great deadener. At me too, someone's looking. Of me too, someone is saying, he is sleeping, he knows nothing. Let him sleep on. I can't go on. What have I said? A critic once said of Waiting for Godot that Samuel Beckett had written a play in which nothing happens twice. Now, this wasn't meant to be a criticism because they said nothing happens, but it keeps the audience glued to their seat. Although seemingly nothing happens, the stakes are very high. What is at stake is our reason for living. The characters, Estragon and Vladimir, spend each day waiting for Godot, who never comes. It's a meaningless exercise. Every day is exactly like the others. In spite of realizing the pointlessness of their waiting, they go on waiting. This is the crux of the theater of the absurd. What choice do we make when faced with the meaninglessness of our existence? Do you give up? Or do you go on stumbling around in the dark, searching for, in spite of the sure knowledge that it will vanish in the harsh light of day.